Crossfire, round two. When John McCain wrote the Children's Internet Protection Act in the year 2000, he may not have foreseen all the controversy it would stir up. After all, who can be against protecting kids from porn? Nobody. But the new law is being challenged in the courts by the American Library Association, which says it unfairly deprives local libraries of much-needed federal funds, and by the ACLU, which claims it even prevents kids from looking up information on how to prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Supporter Donna Rice Hughes is here tonight to defend the law. ACLU President Nadine Strossen is in New York to say the law goes too far. Donna Rice Hughes, if we can, and Donna, welcome back.
Thank you.
I know that you believe strongly about this issue, and I know that you worked on this law, supported this law with the best of intentions, and that you're here tonight with the best of intentions. But you got to admit, you ended up with a totally ridiculous piece of legislation. Let me give you one example. Nadine Strossen mentioned one of the people supporting this lawsuit is a guy named Jeffrey Pollack, who's a Republican conservative running for Congress out in Portland, Oregon. One of his issues was we're going to keep kids from seeing porn on the internet, and then he found out that his campaign website was blocked because he had an article on there about abortion where you use the word rape and incest. So it blocked himself. It just shows how ridiculous it is. You must admit you drew the net too fine, didn't you?
You give me a lot of credit. First of all, this was passed overwhelmingly by both the House and by the Senate, signed into law by President Clinton.
But they all screwed up, didn't they?
No, absolutely not, because we have an epidemic happening with the intrusion of pornography. And the problem here is that schools and libraries who have unrestricted internet access have become virtual peep shows funded by taxpayers. And all Congress is saying is, if you want to use federal E-rate funds for your internet access, then you have to filter out the illegal material. They put a lot of control into the hands of the librarians and the schools. They can choose what technology they want to have. They can choose what else is blocked. But they're saying, look, you can't use taxpayer money to have illegal material coming in, not just for kids, but for adults as well in the libraries.
The problem is you're depending on technology. You're depending on software, which is that's all I want you to admit, that it is far from perfect. Look up the word breast. You can't look up breast cancer. You can't look up breastfeeding. You can't even look up chicken breast.
Yes.
You can't even find out how to cook a chicken breast.
Not even breast implants. Let's see
on some sites. I mean, just admit that you screwed up. The law is wrong.
I'm not going to admit that, because the filtering technology is highly effective. The COPA Commission found that. There are independent studies out there that have shown that filters are highly effective. And no, it absolutely is. Now, where you get these arguments, Bill, is because the filtering companies oftentimes...
That's the opposite of what the COPA Commission found.
No, it is. I was on the COPA Commission.
Yes,
but let me just say this. There are different categories of content that are blocked.
Against
one at a time. And go ahead, Nate, finish that.
Okay. The COPA Commission, along with every group that has ever studied filtering technology, strongly recommended against it. And the COPA Commission, on which Donna sat, even the most conservative members of that commission said the best way to go in terms of protecting children as well as adults' free speech rights. And by the way, I'm glad Donna acknowledged that this law requires blocking of all material to adults who use libraries as well as children.
I co-chaired the commission's hearing on
is education.
You're not telling the truth here, but let me just explain that filters
People can look it up for themselves.
300% of the schools are actually using filters now because they work. There's a 200% increase in libraries using filters now because they work. And the problem is the ivory tower ACLU and ALA people have their heads in the sand. Let me just say this, that you cannot teach a child to understand that watersports.com is not a scuba diving site. You need the technological solutions in place. In addition to the policies, this is a problem. And this law actually allows librarians, if there's a site overblocked, they can simply unblock it.
Why don't you fix the law?
The law is fine. The law works. Librarians are supporting this law, and the government will be calling librarians.
The libraries are suing.
That's not true.
Web speakers oppose it. Every organization that has ever looked at filtering technology opposes it and says if we really want to protect children,
I'm afraid we're going to have
to.
Nadine Strossen, unfortunately, the battle for the hearts and minds of American librarians continues. We're going to have to leave it there for now.
Got to go online here.
Very much. Watersports.com.
Check it out.
Thank you, Donna Rice Hughes. We appreciate it.